they see is my hair, so.
Okay.
Alright, so we're good in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome to WSDH Live 91.5. My name's Jay McGrail, and I'm the Director of Facilities for the Sandwich Public School System, and I've been doing a series of podcasts over the last year and a half here on different things going on in our school. And today we're in the studio over on Jan Sebastian rather than at the high school, so it's a little bit more, pressure here. It's a little more of a formal setup for us, but we're excited to do it. Today we're going to focus on school safety and school security. So I have two of the experts in our town on that. I have Krista Cabral, our school resource officer, and I have John J.J. Burke, the deputy fire chief, with us today. Two of the so my position's changed. I was a member of the school committee, and now I'm the director of facilities. So I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of different people in the district. But since I've started on as the director of facilities, these two guys right here have spent a lot of time with me, bringing me up to speed on what's going on with the buildings and some of the different things we have, some of the concerns we have, how we're going to address those, and some of the exciting things that we have coming up over the next few months. So thank you guys for coming today.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. So Krista, could you, how long have you been the school resource officer?
So I've been in for the last 7 school years. I started, actually when Chief Wax started at our department, that same summer he came in, I went into the schools. Have a large vision to implement myself into classrooms and really be part of the infrastructure in all the schools. It is difficult. At one time we had 4 buildings, now we're down to 3. But we've been able to really expand upon the goals of the safety group to bring Alice in, and we have licensed readers that are now in all the main offices, and we're just looking to expand those things that have kind of been on our docket for year after year, just to chip away at some of the safety concerns that we have.
So you're the only school resource officer we have
I am,
in the
right
district,
now.
and I know a lot of communities have multiple school resource officers. That's something that you think we should work towards as a
Correct.
community?
I would actually love the help because I get really tied up in a lot of things that are need to do things and not so much the want to do things, that I'd want to be able to have more hands-on interaction with the kids. My primary function is for safety, whether that's from the outside or from the inside, all safety issues. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I can see how that could be very helpful to have more
absolutely.
Somebody else assisting you. We do have a couple of security guards, John and Mike, that
we
help
do.
out.
We've been able to implement those over the last 7 years as well, and those are an extra set of ears and eyes for me. They work very closely with me through facilities, through administration, and they've been a big help to me.
Yeah, they're good guys. They take their job really seriously.
They really do.
And I'm sure every parent in the district would recognize them because
Absolutely.
they're out there every day checking
All the
doors,
kids do too. Yep.
directing traffic. And,
Absolutely.
so how long, you've been involved, Deputy Chief, for quite a while. I know you were on the safety committee for a while and had different various roles. Can you give me a little bit of your background with school safety and security?
So the original school safety group was developed in 2008, 2009 when Randy Hunt, who's our state legislator, was a selectman. And he got a group together, including Lieutenant Dave Gilmet, who's now the police chief in Harwich, the facilities director for the school district, Doug Lapp, our assistant town administrator. So we all got together, and that was after the Amish school shooting in Pennsylvania. And we wanted to take a look at the security of our schools. So we've been kind of at the forefront the last 10 years. My role has ebbed and flowed with my promotions that have gone through the department. So I spent 9 years in fire prevention, and at that time, in 2008, that was my current position, and I would do all the inspections for the school. So I was really involved in safety. In 2014, I got promoted to deputy chief, so I was kind of rotated off of the group. But I've always watched from afar and provided assistance when Krista needed it in the group. And again, school safety is not only a priority and a passion of mine, but both Krista and I and you have kids in the school district, so we are invested professionally and personally in the safety of our kids.
We sure do. We both have 6th graders.
Yeah, I have a 2nd grader, and I have 2 that have graduated through the school system.
So I think that helps, having
does.
parents in these roles.
Yeah.
It really, there's nobody that cares more than the 3 of us, with our kids in the buildings, that's for sure. So you have various roles that you do outside of Sandwich involved in school safety and security. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I do. I teach at Boston University in a graduate program in emergency management, and one of my areas of focus there is school safety, both on the university level all the way down to Forestdale School pre-K to 2. So I look at all educational facilities. I also do consulting. I'm the school safety consultant for the city of Worcester in the last 3 years. Implementing a lot of what we've done here in Sandwich, I've looked to implement in other places because it has been highly successful. So it gives me the ability to get out and see what other people are doing, bring some good ideas back here, and vice versa, share that information with those other communities.
That's a valuable resource for us.
Absolutely, and I actually came into a really good system that was already in place with the safety group. The first year that I came on board, I co-chaired with JJ, and then as he said, he went on to take on different roles in the fire department. And now we're actually bringing that back to kind of have a tri-chair involving the police, fire, and the school. The thing that's impressed upon me the most since I've been in this role is the communication and the great relationship between the school, fire, and police. We work collectively. There's no issues there, and being on boards with other SROs, that's not always the case in a lot of towns. So
Really?
We're very, very fortunate. We've never had any issues that we couldn't work out or work through or work together with. So it's a great system. And we've been able to expand upon a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think because of those relationships that are in place.
Honestly, I couldn't imagine having to do what we do without those great relationships in place.
That's
it
where
would
the
be.
problems happen. So we
part
are
of the-
very lucky.
Part of the reason I could see the success of all of this is that we work together as a team and work through all these different things. So what are some of the, really quick, when you go out there and see school security and safety, both of you guys in different towns, I've heard a lot of how we're doing the job better here in Sandwich than some other communities. What are some of those things? The safety group in particular, does that help a lot? Or?
Yeah, I think the safety group in general, like Krista said, to reiterate her point, the cooperation and communication. You go to other places and you sit down and you go to a big city like Worcester, which has 52 public schools, and I say, hey, can you get your police, fire, and facilities people together? And they say, why? Everybody does their own thing. And I said, for this to work, you need input from everybody. Schools are the focal point of a community regardless. They act as shelters during storms. One of the first things they tell you in disaster management is get your schools back up and running for a sense of normalcy for the kids. So that's the one thing I've seen that I've tried to replicate and promote and say you need all these people to be on the same page and to be working together. So that's the big thing, at least that going out and about that I have seen. I think Krista has some ideas on some of the concerns that she's seen, and she brings those to me, and I at least have a network that I can ask some questions on, and we can come up with some solutions. And I think having Krista in the school every day, I go once a week, but having her there every day, getting the pulse of what's going on, and then being able to feed both you and I and other people some of the issues, and we can come up with some solutions, I think that's what makes it work so well.
Yeah, speaking of that, Krista, if you're a parent watching, what are like some of the programs that we have in place that are really strong for Sandwich right now to make your parents feel more comfortable?
So some of the programs that we have a full-time SRO in place that's in uniform in a marked patrol car. Chief's been nothing but supportive of this position and things that I've wanted to do. I'm in classrooms. Like he said, hands-on every single day. That's my assignment. That's where I am. I'm a resource not just for kids, but for parents, for faculty, staff, for DCF, through the court systems, you name it. So it's full circle. It's not just negative communication that I have with kids when they're in trouble, but it's building relationships, and that's like JJ alluded to, that really lets me get a pulse of what's going on with certain situations and maybe head things off long before they happen. Sandwich is a great community.
Yeah,
honestly.
it is.
And we actually, I have a lot of other communities that reach out to me and say, what are your protocols for this, or what do you do for this? Because when I'm at trainings or when I'm speaking at SRO meetings or assisting other towns, they like what they hear. So why recreate the wheel? We share that information because we want all communities to be safe.
What is the ALICE training?
So the ALICE training is an enhanced situational awareness training. It's not just for school, but it's just being aware of our surroundings, seeing something, saying something, and being able to actively participate in keeping everybody safe.
All of our teachers go through that?
All
or?
teachers have the training, and children grades 7 through 12 have the training. All new hires, they have to go through training with me each year. We're looking to start very age-appropriate ALICE training with our K through 6. I've helped out in other towns, and that's a wonderful thing too. So we would probably meet with parents to head off any concerns that they may have about it, because it's not just what you hear,
Right.
we're throwing things at intruders. No, very age appropriate, and like I said, all of the teachers are trained in this and have been for 7 years now, which really 7 years ago is when Alice really kind of became big. We learn from every single incident that happens. We're still learning, even with Parkland. Things are very fluid with these types of situations. So again, the communication and the relationship building that we have is paramount.
Is that state mandated, the Alice training, or is that something?
It is. It is through a safety bill that was passed through Deval Patrick when he was governor, as is one door, one school, and different protocols that we follow. When talking about safety, it's a little bit difficult because we can't share everything. But I will tell you, we basically have a 3-tier system where if it's not Plan A, it's going to be Plan B and Plan C. Some of which we share, some of which we don't. And it's not that we don't want to be transparent with these things. It's just that we have to protect all the things that we have available to us in the case of a critical incident.
Yeah, that's understandable. So we have, our community has decided that they're placing a paramount on school security and safety, and through the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen, we have a warrant article at town meeting coming up to do some additions. So some of the additions that we're looking at making came from you and concerns that you have. So can you walk us through a couple of those concerns?
Some of the concerns would be the speaker systems in the schools, some areas that aren't able to hear when we have to sound an alarm or put out a notice that something's going on. So we would like to have that updated, cameras updated, locking systems, going to the fobs for access to the schools. Just kind of keeping up with the times with what's available to us. JJ can probably speak for, some of the Go for Blue and Be Safe systems that we've already kind of started chipping away at. But again, it is funding. Comes down to funding a lot of the things.
And we've seen that there's a pretty heavy-duty commitment from the town here, and to $200,000 going into
100%, yeah.
Not that that's...
It's a true commitment, and it's something that we've chipped away at. The safety group, we look at things each year, and we try to chip away at things. We have safety buckets in all the classrooms for part of the Alice program. We did the buzzer systems. We have a depository type windows going in the vestibules to cut down on the number of people in the schools, the traffic that's in the schools each day. So there's a lot of things. I have a really big wish list, but it does come down to funding.
We're plugging away at it, though.
Yep, it's no different than any other part of the town.
Right.
But,
do you want to speak to a couple of these new ideas that we have going?
Sure. So, like Krista mentioned, the vestibule window, I think, is that's an important piece to kind of decompress the traffic that goes into that office. So if you look at it now, once those windows are installed, you'd come into that vestibule, and 90% of your interaction is going to be face-to-face through a window. If you have something to leave for your child, you'll leave it there. They'll bring it into the office, and you won't actually get into the office. If by some chance you do need to get in the office, the license readers, which you've already invested in, are there, and they will scan and provide you a pass. So I think just having those two things, the license reader already in play and the vestibule windows going in, I think will make a huge difference.
And that's at Forestdale and Oak Ridge.
Both at Forestdale and Oak Ridge, and I think that's going to be a big improvement. And again, it'll allow the secretaries to put eyes on people directly instead of through a camera. The cameras are great, but nothing beats human interaction in terms of being able to look at somebody. So I think that's going to be a massive improvement. Krista spoke to some of the audio issues throughout the schools, and I know you and I have gone through and tested again, and I was there on April vacation and we did some testing, and we are going to bring somebody in that's going to address those particular issues. Though I do caution people that some of these places are such there's so many people in there that even with the best speaker systems you may not be able to hear. So as part of that, we're looking at not only improving the audio, which we're committed to doing, but also installing blue lights in high profile areas where people, if it's noisy, they could see the flashing blue prism, and then there'd be a series of instructions for them to evacuate the building, and that would signal some type of lockdown event. Nobody has that. That is about as forward thinking as you're going to get. Everybody's familiar with strobe lights and fire alarms. We're looking to add a blue light on the police side to address these intruder/active shooter issues, and I think we're pretty close to coming up with a solution that's both cost effective and again, the other piece to that is going to be we have to train everybody.
Yeah.
The kids, they'll be there 8 to 4, but rec basketball, things that go on after school programs, you have to train everybody that uses that building that if they see that blue light, these are the things that you're going to need to do.
Yeah.
The strobe lights also, we're looking to get them on the outside of the building, so if there are gym classes outside or any activities, even after school with sports, they're not entering an area that is, a dangerous area. So that's really big. But I also want to give hats off to the BERT team members. We have a wonderful BERT team in place at each school. Every level of every building has BERT team members, building emergency response team members. These are teachers who volunteer their time. They get chairlift training from the fire department. They wear vests, they have radios, so if all the communications cut down, we still have radio communication with these people. They come to meetings on their own time, and they help with everything from fire drill evacuations to critical incident with information sharing. So I have to give my hats off to that too, because that's a great system. And we have more BERT team members staffed at Forestdale because those kids are smaller and they might need more assistance even with just a basic evacuation drill.
And that's not in every district on Cape Cod.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, it's clear to me that there's a lot we're doing well, but at the end of the day, once we do these upgrades, we're going to be one of the most secure districts around.
Absolutely. Even as tourniquet training, we're looking to implement that with Stop the Bleed program, just because your teachers really are basically your first responders. I'm on site, but my backup is going to be several minutes away, and when stuff happens, your teachers are there. So the more we share with them and the more we empower them to keep themselves and the kids safe, the better off we are.
Absolutely.
I think a key point to emphasize also is you have so much technology and stuff is not everything in protection. The human training is probably the most critical component, and that includes buy-in from the staff to participate, and if they see something, to say something. You could have all the devices in the world, as we've seen at airports and other high venue places, but if you don't have the human training element to it and the commitment from the district to train and educate our staff, you're halfway there. And I think we have some good technology and we're putting a lot of good things in place. But like Krista said, the BERT team model and basically the participation of the staff, that's what puts it over the top.
Yeah.
And I think we all have a responsibility to safety when we're in the schools, and I know the staff there takes it very, very seriously, which is good to see, and that's again a key component. So I just want to emphasize that we can buy all kinds of things, but if we are not training and empowering our staff to make decisions, then it's all for naught. So I think we've struck a nice balance here.
I would say that goes out to parents too. If you're there to volunteer or drop off or pick up and you notice things, point it out to us. Let us know. The more eyes and ears, the better.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of this started, was with the parents in the community. I mean, obviously on you guys' end, you guys have been working on this nonstop for a long time, but when the parents and some of the stuff happened with Parkland, obviously, it rose, it struck a chord with a lot of the parents, and that's helping us get the funding we need.
Yeah,
so
and even having a strong SRO in place, it's a wonderful thing because it's not just about the physical security, it's about the social and emotional and the attachment and the relationships that you build with the kids. If they don't trust me, my job doesn't work. So to have me there, committed there every day by my department, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think that's about all the time we have today, guys. I mean, I really appreciate you both coming down.
Thank you
everything
so much
that
for
you're
having
doing.
me.
Yeah, no problem, Jay. Thank you very much.
I hope that if there's parents watching from home, that they'll realize that our buildings are really secure. There's some stuff we're going to do to make some changes to improve that security. May 7th is town meeting. Please come and support the capital plan that we have for this funding. And I can tell you my job will be then by Labor Day to get all this stuff installed and working so that when kids come back to school in September, the vestibules are in place, the strobes are in place, the new locking mechanisms, the new camera, all these upgrades are ready to go for the start of school in September. So
Sounds good.
thank you guys,
Thank you very
and
much.
thanks for watching 91.5 WSDH Live, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.